Hey, it's 10 o'clock straight up. Dave Glovin, Randy Rhodes, Boogie with the Bull, Wednesday morning caffeine. My face is still a little bright, a little washed out. I know the LED desk lamp I got is too bright, so we will take care of getting a proper light for the laptop when the new laptop arrives. Hopefully today, if the weather doesn't mess that up too bad. We're live on the Dave Glovin profile here on Facebook and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Yes, do me a favor, go over to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. When we're live over there, you'll know we're live over there. Watch the broadcast over there sometime just so YouTube thinks that we're a viable broadcast over there and they want to help get more people to watch. Topics for today, open discussions are, yes, let's see, Hurricane Milton is still on its way here, barreling down, aiming for southern Florida, working its way up into central Florida, and then coming up here. The tracks seem to show it coming up over where we are in Jacksonville and then veering right and going out into the Atlantic Ocean. Two scenarios happen then. If the ocean water is warm and it refills full of water, it re-energizes itself and doubles back and gives the whammy to northern Florida, or hopefully goes on and maybe doesn't give the whammy to anybody, just stays out over the Atlantic Ocean. But of course, your favorite weather announcer is going to probably insist for now that it's going to hit hard wherever you are. So my best suggestion is that you are prepared for where it is. Florida, we're being told you still have enough time if you don't have to evacuate from where you are, but you need to prepare. Go out and prepare. Make sure your gas tank is full. Make sure all of your electric devices are plugged in, just because if you lose power in your house, you may still have internet because your internet service, however you get your internet, may still have electricity and still be up and running. Or if you're lucky enough in Florida to be near one of these Starlink emergency devices, you could still have internet. We didn't lose our internet during Helene when she passed over the house about 1 o'clock in the morning. According to Donna, we still had internet. I was seriously sleeping at 1 o'clock in the morning. Didn't wake up till the next morning, and it looked like nothing really happened. Make sure you get your debris dropped off at your nearest debris disposal point. Governor DeSantis has declared all of them need to be open and accepting until it is not safe for them to be open and accepting any longer, to make sure we get rid of as much Helene debris as we can before Milton decides whether or not he is going to leave some. And with that, what do you see? Let's see. I've called you Dr. Rhodes. Today I'm going to call you Professor Rhodes. What have you seen in the news, Professor Rhodes?
Well, I'd probably make my hair white and kind of like fluffy, so like I had a bad hair day, sort of.
Like Albert?
Like
Albert Einstein?
Yeah, like that.
It was actually funny. None of my college professors had that wired hair. Even the broadcasting ones. Matter of fact, only because the broadcasting, the chief of the broadcasting department, as far as the college radio station went, the faculty advisor had a PhD in chemical engineering and didn't have much hair by the time he graduated, and he wasn't much older than those of us in the program.
What I remember about my professors in my first year of college is that a lot of them were young, pretty women. And I'm thinking to myself, here you are, you're very attractive, and your first year of students primarily going to be right out of high school. So now we're adults, and if we wanted to, we could, hook up with a professor, but that never happened. Anyways, here's some interesting.
I personally think it's one of those relationships that it's not a good thing because if something goes sour between you and
He'll flunk you.
your professor, that's the risk that you have, or you end up getting treated much more difficultly than everyone else in the class.
Okay, so here's what we have in the Microsoft news today.
Microsoft News Today, a copyrighted presentation of Microsoft, which we do not have permission to use, but we are using anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. Having said all that, so I have 4 pieces of information from Microsoft Start newsreel, and then you can talk, and then I'll find some other stuff on the other newsreel. Okay. Anyways, these are ones I picked out that I thought to me were interesting. First off, I did not know there are Irish soldiers in Lebanon. They're part of a UN peacekeeping
mission. Irish Lebanese.
No, they're Irish.
Okay.
They're UN troops, and it's an Irish outfit. So I guess the war between Israel and so forth was getting really close to where they were situated. So the Irish military warned Israel, "You're getting too close to us for comfort. Please, back away." So they did. So nothing happened there. Here's something that you might find interesting. Trump has an 18-point lead to win the election. And that is the former President Donald Trump has extended his lead in the Daily Mail's election model, which now gives him his highest probability yet of victory over Kamala Harris in November's election. An 18-point lead. Good God, that is huge.
But didn't he have a huge lead, even though Fox decided he didn't?
I haven't heard about that. I don't know about that. But so here's something. Our president said some very nasty things about Netanyahu. Did you know about that?
I don't listen to what he says about Netanyahu, and it goes back to when Obama was president. Netanyahu didn't like him. And Netanyahu told him he didn't like him because he thought he was weak. But he also said that you don't have the right, as the president of a country that has been around for like a couple of 100 years, to tell the prime minister of another country that's been around for like 5,700 years how to do anything. You can make suggestions as an ally, but you don't have a right to tell us what to do because you're the United States. We don't need you.
Well, apparently a book was written, and in the book, the author quoted Netanyahu about some things that he said about Biden, and Biden's response was, "That son," and I'll say the nasty words, "that son of a bitch, Bibi Netanyahu, he is a bad guy. He's a bad fucking guy." And he goes on a couple more things. It's like, wow, to say that to someone else's leader, that takes some balls.
I don't know. Again, none of us really know what is going on with Joe Biden in the sense that we're not there with him. If he's making quotes like that, and the press is getting a hold of or being quoted in a book, and the press is getting notification that he was quoted in a book that way, or that he made a quote like that, it's not going to do him any good. It wouldn't do Donald Trump any good if Donald Trump said, "I don't like that fucking idiot Netanyahu." They love each other, but if he said, "I don't like that fucking idiot," whoever, it sometimes it gets played differently than if any other president said it, because Donald Trump is the master showman, and with The Apprentice and all of that, everybody expects Donald Trump to be that "you're fired" kind of guy when you're talking to him. Joe Biden, on the other hand, it just shows that he's stupid and doesn't really choose the right words. if you or I were president and we were upset with Netanyahu over something, I think we would at least maybe say, I disagree with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I understand where he's coming from, but if I was prime minister, maybe this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
So that you don't insult the person's intelligence. You just agree to disagree.
So here is something else, and then I'll have to switch browsers to see what else is important to talk about. Did you know that North Korea signed a treaty between them and Russia that should Russia be attacked, North Korea must come to their military aid? So they are sending troops. Doesn't say how many, but says they're sending troops to fight alongside the Russian soldiers against Ukraine.
Okay. I wonder if that treaty goes on page 2 and says, if we nuke anybody, either you have to go nuke them in sympathy nukes, or you have to send your nukes to us. So that's like if we have 5 nukes and we shoot off 4 and you have 1, you have to send your 1 nuke to us, which could leave you without a nuke. But remember, we now have 5, and if anyone nukes you, we're gonna come to your aid and nuke them. I mean, I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. And like I keep saying,
oh, please, the dog.
Okay, like I keep saying, Putin and Zelensky. Zelensky was all over the news like a week, maybe 2 now ago, with Kamala Harris in pictures at the White House and in pictures with Trump that might have just been file pictures because they looked like they were at the White House too. But the understanding was that some kind of a settlement had been worked out between them and Trump, and this whole thing was going to stop. And now everybody's talking about they're each talking about nuking each other with all the nukes they can get their hands on. Because normally you would think, or normally what takes place is when 2 sides say we've worked out a settlement, usually there's a ceasefire, and you don't do anything during that ceasefire period to antagonize your opponent. Because hopefully you want to work this out peacefully. But, Zelensky, as far as I'm concerned, if anything, is going to try to do a money grab, meaning get the United States to drop as much money as they can between now and the time that he steps down, because the odds are if he steps down or there's an election and he's reelected, there's an election and he's not reelected, he's going to have to get out of Ukraine and go somewhere. And if Russia takes over, he's not going to want to risk the chance that he ends up in a Russian prison. But it just seems to me they just keep plugging that one is going to nuke the other one on any moment to keep us away from reading the rest of the Microsoft news each day. Who's now being accused of being involved in Diddy? Who hasn't yet been named in the Epstein list? Trump's, what did you say, 18 points ahead?
Yeah.
That's a sizable.
It's huge.
That it may not necessarily be a guaranteed win, but if the bulk of the 18 points is in swing states, it could very well be. Plus, one of your senators, Fetterman, I don't know if he actually came out and endorsed Trump over Harris, but I seem to recall that he, at a press conference or somewhere, was very, very nice about the fact that Trump should be president. I don't remember I didn't read the exact story. It was, I was scrolling and I read a headline and I didn't stop because I was looking for more specific things to include in that broadcast. But like I said, it is Wednesday morning. It's 10:15. Boogie with a Bull, Wednesday morning caffeine. We're live on the Boogie with a Bull YouTube channel over on YouTube with a live chat. We're live over here on Facebook with a live chat on my Dave Woven profile. I will try doing shares as we go through the broadcast. Again, I'm still seeing them in my news feed as upload errors, but it looks like they're all uploading. We had 100 people watching yesterday, and it posted with 100 people watching, and there weren't 100 people in my live chat watching. It showed another 27 people today, so I don't know, maybe it is some error on Facebook. But again, if you're not seeing it in a group that you want it in, take it and share it, put it in that group, and help us grow. Plus, it's one less broadcast that Randy Rhodes has to decide what he's going to do when he is on it, which is one of the most difficult things for any kind of broadcaster to do. Go ahead.
So, besides the 18-point lead between Trump and Kamala, apparently the news media are saying that she has, where's the word at? She has damned her campaign by telling the folks on The View she couldn't think of anything she would have done differently from President Biden.
God, that would have been the most easiest question for her to answer, because Trump answered it for her in their debate. He said, "Why?" He asked her, "Do in the last 3.5 years and not done it." I mean, at least in the debate, I would have said at least promise some things that sound important, but you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. I mean, you can't tell people you're going to. I mean, tell people you're going to close down the IRS. There isn't going to be income taxes anymore. You can tell everybody that you're going to, that at the minimum, you're going to work with the Department of Homeland Security and go through the 50 million illegal immigrants living in this country that came up from Mexico and weed out the bad ones and send them back. The only problem is there were reports about a week or so ago. It was on one of the broadcasts. I think somebody said, one of the panel members said that supposedly the MS-13 people were told when they left Venezuela, do not come back or we will kill you. So if they're a crime organization, I would think under that threat of knowing that they're going to die if they come back to Venezuela, at the least they're just going to continue their crime sprees here in America until they land in an American prison.
Here's something interesting. Here's something you don't want to hear while flying commercial.
Okay.
This is your co-pilot speaking. Unfortunately, the pilot has died and we are in trouble. We're going to have an emergency landing. Please remain seated and pray that we land safely. So a Turkish airline pilot dies mid-flight as his plane was forced to make a New York emergency landing. So the co-pilot had to take over. Unless their plane has the autopilot. You ever see those damn planes? Now they can fly themselves. They're like freaking those cars you can just buy and you tell them where you want to go and the car drives you, but you sit
Tesla
back.
Yeah, Tesla on some. I believe I don't know if it's on all Teslas, but I know on some of the high end Teslas you can get the Tesla autopilot, which basically can drive the car, and it knows what a stoplight is, so it will stop. It knows if the car in front of you is not moving, so it will stop. If it fails sometimes,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it's major when it.
it's like
fails. But I joked around with that on a broadcast. I think I did myself a week or so ago because I wrote a post on it. That what happens if I'm sitting in the back seat of my autopilot Tesla and the car gets pulled over, and it knows that there's a police officer behind it with lights and sirens going, so it pulls over, and the police officer comes up to the driver's door and then looks at me and goes, "Who's driving?" And I say, "The car is." And then he says, "Well, can I see your driver's license?" "I don't have one. That's why the car is driving."
Ugh. Well, that's like, can you imagine? A cop pulls over this car, and the guys in the back seat, right? And there's no one in the front seat, the car. I don't know how smart this damn car is, but the window rolls down, the cops reach in, kind of like looks around. Do you know how fast you were driving? And the car responds like, "Yeah, do you?"
You should never answer that question, even if
Yeah,
with a number that you don't even say, "Well, it's 65 here, and I was probably doing 70." You don't answer. You throw it on them, because at that point you've admitted to doing 70, which technically is 5 miles over the speed limit. So you are speeding, and you can be nailed for speeding. You have a right to say to the officer, "Well, okay, how did you realize I was speeding?" "Well, I was behind you, and this is how fast I was going, so that's at least how fast you had to be going." Well, that's not really admissible. And a radar gun, if they say we had a radar gun on you and the gun showed, that's admissible, but you have a right to have that cruiser or that gun meet you at a garage that works with the city. Your car goes up on one of those speed things. They lock around your rear wheel. They accelerate your car to 65 miles an hour. They aim the radar gun at it. If the radar gun says you're doing 70, and the computer says your car is only doing 65, then that radar gun needs to be recalibrated.
Right, but sometimes too, the car itself could be out of calibration.
Well, that's true. That's true. But that's why the Crown Vic dashboards used to say calibrated speed. So that it's constantly being checked, so that if that's how it was being done,
I think in all my years of driving, I've only ever gotten 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And the one was well deserved. I was working at a hotel, and it's like 30 minutes from home, and I was working night, and I was working the gourmet restaurant, which is always nighttime. So I wanted to get home. I was tired, and I was booking it. I was doing like 70 miles an hour down this open highway, not a car in sight, right?
Yeah.
And the speed limit was like 55, and I'm doing like 70, and I'm just, what the fuck? I went right past this cop that was sitting in the median strip with his lights out. Boom. Damn.
I actually got pulled over. I didn't get pulled over, but he pulled up beside me on 395 in Connecticut, which is like a 2-lane highway that is 65 miles an hour. And he pulled up on the side of me and aimed one of his side lights at me. I rolled the window down, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "Do you realize how fast you're going?" I said, "Probably 55, probably 60, 65, because that's the speed limit." He said, "No, I got you clocked doing 34 miles an hour."
Oh, shit.
And then I said to him, "Well, I wasn't paying attention to my speed because I was listening to WSRS, one of the radio stations up there, and they had a whole block of awesome classic rock. My sunroof was open. All the windows were open. I had it blasted because I was the only car on the highway."
And you were falling asleep.
So, no, I wasn't falling asleep. I just wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was only doing 34.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. That's a bullshit excuse.
No, he had said to me the minimum is 35. He said, if you were doing 35 and I clocked you on radar at 35, I would have just kept going.
I don't know. How can you not tell you're driving slow?
Because
I mean,
he had radar in the I wasn't looking down at the speedometer. I was just driving the car and enjoying the music.
You're in the moment. That's how you put. I was in the moment and didn't realize I was driving slow. Sorry, officer.
I've been pulled over where we got clocked another time in Putnam, going down one of the main roads that is a speed trap, and I was probably doing 65, 70 miles an hour, and he pulled me over and took my license, my registration, asked me how fast you were going. I might have said to him that we were about to get on the highway, so I was probably doing 65 miles an hour. And he comes back and he said, I could really mess up your driving record with points and this and that, but, pay attention and don't start speeding until you're on the on-ramp, not on Kennedy Drive, or else you will get a ticket next time.
My only other ticket was I came to the stop, and I stopped, and I looked left, I looked right, and I saw the cop. He was on the highway, but he was off to the side behind me on the highway, and I'm on like an off ramp. And I stopped. I looked left, looked right, looked left, and I pulled away, right, and the cop puts his lights on and pulls me over. And I'm thinking, what the hell did I do? So I got out of my car. I walked back to the police car. He rolls down his wheel. And I said, what did I do wrong? The first thing you did wrong was you get out of your car. Get the hell back in your car and you wait for me.
That's correct.
Okay. No, I there's one other one. I was in the Air Force. And I forget what year it was, but it was a year where that guru, we'll call him that, convinced his people to drink the poison Kool-Aid, right?
Jim Jones,
and they all died.
Guyana.
So I was stationed at Dover Air Force Base, and it was around Christmas time, and our battalion, our wing was having a Christmas party. And it's nighttime. I'm trying to find where this damn Christmas party is. So I'm driving around real slow. And I didn't realize that all those damn bodies were flown to Dover Air Force Base because they have the largest morgue there, okay? So all these bodies are in the morgue, and they're under military protection. So I'm driving past this one building, which obviously had to be the morgue. Next thing you know, I see these flashing lights in front of me and behind me. And I got out of my car and I started walking towards them. The next thing I hear is, stop! Freeze!
All right. I'm going to apologize to Tina Scott because Tina Scott says it's starting with that she heard the land grab has started in the damaged areas that Helene left. The land grab has actually started. This means that the city governments are coming in, or the federal government is coming in, and by eminent domain, they're forcing you to sell, or they're either just taking it or they're forcing you to sell at ridiculously low values. I don't know. Personally, I would say, no, if you have insurance and you're going to get back enough to build your house again, and it's going to be safe for you to build your house again there, don't sell and go in and build your house up again. That's the only recourse that you have. I mean, eventually, they could probably get you into court through eminent domain because they're the government for another couple of weeks until hopefully Trump comes back. They're the government, and they can come in and do whatever they want. And even probably, it could continue in the Trump administration only because it may be a Joe Biden executive order, and unless Donald Trump takes it down, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it would continue in the Trump administration. And if it was, I believe Trump would be making sure that the people that are attempting to buy your land are buying your land at the fair price. And it should also change how, if you buy a piece of property, you own a piece of property, you should have mineral rights going down so far. I don't know, 100 feet, whatever. You own the first 100 feet below you, and those minerals that are in there are yours, and you can do with it as you wish. But it's crazy, and I don't even know if BlackRock is going to continue buying property like they had said that was their plan, because they went bankrupt and they're now New BlackRock, and New BlackRock inherited something like $11.7 billion in debt that old BlackRock had. So they may not necessarily be spending a whole lot of money that they don't have to spend. Although what I did hear was the day after they announced New BlackRock as the owner of BlackRock, the stock market shot up. But then again, the next day, I understand it went back down to normal. So, if you were going to make money off of in BlackRock,
then I got a phone call. Can you block me here for a minute, okay?
Okay. So Randy blocked us for a minute because he's got a phone call. I wonder what the phone call is. But anyway, let's see. No, that's not that. Hold on a second. But anyway, I'm not sure what happened with Randy, but we'll continue on. But, I don't know what's going to happen with BlackRock. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen with BlackRock. All they did basically was a classic reorganization where, you go out of business as one company because you're bankrupt, and the next day you have a shiny new name and you're back in business as that company because all you did was reorganize, and you have enough investment capital in you to pay off the $11 billion debt that you owe, or you just owe yourselves $11 billion, and you just continue. I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, I could be wrong, because everybody talks about they wish that BlackRock would go broke and cease to exist. And the problem is that BlackRock owns so much of so many companies that are involved in everybody's daily life that if BlackRock had gone bankrupt and actually decided we just weren't going to operate anymore, it would have a sizable negative effect on our economy at a time when we don't want to have a sizable negative effect on our economy. Hopefully, what would come out of this is BlackRock, New BlackRock, saying to, well, the Biden administration is almost done, but what they should be saying to the Biden administration for the time that is left is that any oil company that we own a sizable investment in, as far as we are concerned, to save that company, we should be harvesting as much domestic United States oil out of the ground 24/7 for as long as we can. And if you haven't do that anymore, then we're going to get you to the Supreme Court in 24 hours, who's going to say you can't, that executive order can't happen, or Nancy Pelosi is going to come forward as a representative of the House of Representatives and say, as Speaker, Mr. Biden, I would have told you that you can't write an executive order on that, and we would be back drilling and whatever, because I'm sure she and Paul have sizable investments in most of those oil companies anyway. I never understood why Biden decided he was going to turn off the Keystone XL pipeline, make us oil dependent, import from Russia at a price much higher than it would have cost us to get it out of the ground here on our own, and then tell the world that Biden is a bad person and we're not going to buy it from you anymore. So he had to go to other places around the world and spend even more money. To me, that's the first thing that Donald Trump needs to do. Turn on the Keystone XL pipeline, or bring the 52,000 people back and let them get oil shale from Canada if they still want to do it, coming through it, down to Texas refineries, brewing gas, sending some back to Canada, keeping a lot for us, drive our prices down, and everybody's happy. But,
You know what I think about Canada?
What?
I think that, we should have, been more successful, back in the day when colonial war, when our soldiers went there to try and invade Canada for ourselves, and somehow we screwed that up. But for as much as they do hate us, and they're a socialist nation, um, and they their influence in our politics, as it's well known. Um, they when they had their protests, and the French government seized the assets of all the people, and then they seized the fuel and forced the truckers to do this, that, and other thing, and got away with it. And then when our people tried to do the similar, I wouldn't say right, but a similar protest, then our government got into the same thought line. Let's seize their GoFundMe money. Let's take this from them. Let's take that from them. I just think I like Trump's idea when he wanted to take and remove all of our soldiers from across the world, bring them home to our country, and say, screw you, Europe, and so forth. If you want protection, you got to protect yourselves. We're no longer, paying for your protection. We're no longer having our soldiers die for you, because where are you at when we need help? I just think we just ought to start, thinking about the United States and be more selfish that way. That's me.
Let me ask you a question. What time do you have to end, Randy? Do you have to be done at 11, or do you have until 11:30 today?
11 o'clock. Just I have to work on my people's stuff.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, did you see that four of Elon Musk's higher ups walked out on him? I don't know why. I just saw a headline saying that four, you know, I won't call them CEOs, but four of his people walked out in the board meeting. Just walked out on him.
Did it say which companies they were, or did it say why they walked out?
Well, if I would have thought to look at the damn, or if I can find it again, I'll look at the report.
Okay.
What the hell was that?
Ranger, I'll contact you after today's broadcast, and if possible, maybe I'll bring you on tomorrow morning. If Randy wants to join us, he's more than welcome. I'll bring you on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I don't have time to bring you on. We usually end at around 11 o'clock because Randy can only give me an hour in the morning. So it wouldn't be fair to bring you on, get a conversation going, and then have to bump you off in 20 minutes. So
well, who are you talking to?
Ranger Dukes is a well-respected conservative on our side.
Ranger Dukes. That almost sounds like
He's a very good guy. He's a really good guy. Does a lot of videos, very much on our side.
Really? Well,
But
I thought you. I'll give you an extra half hour.
well, okay, if you can stay till 11:30, I'll do that. Ranger, is
Yeah.
that okay? You let me know. You let me know in the live chat. Randy said that he can stay till 11:30. If you want to come on now, Ranger, I'll send you the link now.
He has a neat name because I remember as a child getting the magazine Ranger Rick. Remember those magazines, Ranger Rick?
Yep. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can do this. I have to go back over here. I have to do this to steal this, copy that. Then I got to go out of here. Whoops. Go out of here. Go out of here. Go here.
So Ukraine is going after Russia's North Korean arms stockpile. So that's good.
All right, hang on just a sec. All right, Ranger, I have sent the link to you. Log on. It'll walk you through. Make sure that your camera and everything is going and your mic is going. And when we see you backstage, I'll bring you in and we'll extend today and go till 11:30. And so we'll keep going, Randy. And if he does, in fact, come in, then we'll bring him in. If not, we'll find another time to bring him. I'd like to bring him in. He really is a good guy.
Really is a good guy.
It would be a lively chat that people want to hear. David Fowler, I agree with you that it was done that BlackRock did the bankruptcy to help destroy America. But if that was the case, then don't you think they would have just gone bankrupt? They wouldn't have done a reorganization. I can't. Okay, Ranger, I can't. Ranger, I can't. Okay, Ranger, I can't do it by phone. I can't do it by phone. I'm not set up to have a speakerphone going during one of the broadcasts here. If you want to connect to the broadcast, you can connect to the broadcast. You can hide your face behind a black box or something, but I can't do it. I can't do it as a speakerphone interview through message. It disrupts too much of what's going on outside of our room here in the house. But like I said, if you want to come on and you don't want people to see your face, you can turn off your camera and give us your audio, and that works. That works just fine. But back to you, David. It would have significantly helped bankrupt America even more than America is already bankrupt. It would have taken down a lot of companies that BlackRock owns stock in, but that's not what they did. What they did was they basically reorganized as new BlackRock, took BlackRock as a wholly owned subsidiary, absorbed the $11 billion debt. Okay, I see. Right. Okay, I see. Okay, I crossed points that you brought up. You were talking about Biden shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, and that could very well be. From what I understand, they're not happy with us that we shut it down. From what I understand, they were going to send us a significant amount of Canadian oil shale because they frack up there. It's legal up there. They still do it. That's how they get their oil. And it would have been a mutually beneficial project for both. And I believe that while Trump was president, I believe there were some challenges to the route of the original pipeline that supposedly were going to go through or near Indian burial grounds, which they were not willing to allow it to do. I believe the changes were made to avoid those areas, but still keep the pipeline going like it was supposed to go. So, it just shows all the more reason why Joe Biden should not be president. Because if you ask Joe Biden to name anything that you did as a senator anything that you did as a vice president that proves that you're worthy of being and able to be a president, the only thing that comes to mind is steal classified documents. And it was a crime when he stole them as a senator. It was a crime when he still had them as vice president. It was a crime when he turned them in as president. And the Justice Department chose not to do anything because the Her report said he's an old man who really didn't know what he was doing and really didn't mean to cause any problem. Bull crap.
If his mind is that bad that he has, he's given a Passover for that, then he shouldn't be sitting behind the Oval Office.
Right. I mean, and I don't doubt. Well, Kamala Harris, if she's elected, the first thing she's probably going to do is pardon him from everything, so that he cannot be charged with anything that happened during his 4 years as being a president of the United States, which basically he can't be charged with anyway. But even though they violated that and went after Trump for stuff, but she's going to pardon him, and it won't be discussed anymore. I would imagine the Trump Justice Department working with the Trump House Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan and others, and other committees of the House will continue to look into things that Biden did and whether or not they will, how they will go about, prosecuting him. I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't believe that just because he is now has dementia and claims he didn't know what he was doing. The question is, if you knew that you had dementia and you weren't capable of making the right decisions to be president, then why did you run for president?
Well, no, you can't put it on him because a person that has, my experience, like I said before, my wife's mom had dementia and Alzheimer's really bad. And she was very suggestive that, so if someone told her to do something, she did it because she thought she was being nice and was doing what she was told. So if he had it, back then when he started running, so he can't be blamed for what he did. There are people pushing him to run for office, and they're the ones who should be going to jail and everything he did, because his mind was compromised. So everything he did should be reversed.
Right, but if his mind was compromised while he was a United States senator, and he was found in possession of classified documents that he was not supposed to have, at the least they would have expelled him from the United States Senate, and they would have also said you cannot hold an office in the federal government for the rest of your life. Because odds are, considering the amount of sizable classified documents he either still has or did have at any one time, he would have been prosecuted and sent to jail. Or prosecuted, disbarred if he's still a lawyer, and not allowed to hold federal office of any kind. I don't understand why they didn't do the minimums to him. Because if Trump was president and they found classified documents, they weren't ready. They staged a classified document dungeon at Mar-a-Lago. They staged it. They went in. They admitted it. They went in there and brought stuff with them, set it up to look like stuff was kept all over. People that live at Mar-a-Lago spend time there because it is a resort, came forward and testified. None of that crap was ever in any of those rooms, that the public access rooms where it was all set up. But I mean, the only reason I think Joe Biden came clean on it is because he was president while the while the Biden administration was investigating Donald Trump for the same thing. And even if he is demented, he realized if I get caught with this stuff, I could go to jail for a very long time. And I'm in my late 70s, early 80s. And if I go to jail for a very long time, but
everything about these last 4 years, I know it's just my wishful thinking, but everything that has been done these past 4 years should legally be undone because the guy was mentally compromised. The people are probably, telling him what to do, what to sign, what. I mean, we know that they're correcting him on what he was saying because he would come out, he would say something, and then the White House was fact checking. No, he didn't. He didn't mean that. He meant this. He misspoke or whatever. Or he himself said, I don't think I'm supposed to take any questions now. I don't think I'm supposed to say that. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. The guy, I'm sorry, the last 4 years should be erased, but it ain't going to happen.
Well,
why? Because, the Republicans aren't in control and they got no balls.
Well, even if the Republicans are in control, you can't just say we're going to years of the Biden administration and everything that they did, even if the day comes where everyone admits that Trump was elected in 2020. And when this conversation comes up, I just usually throw in, we have to acknowledge that it happened. We have to go forward in 2024 and make sure it doesn't ever happen again. You bring up a lot that we should move to a monarchy. Well, basically, we had a monarchy. We had the Biden monarchy for 4 years. He did whatever the hell he wanted to do, or whatever the hell people told him to do, or whatever the hell people just went ahead and did. Because if you're president and you're only available from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then you're in bed at 4 p.m. until 10 a.m., or you're away from the office from 4 p.m. until 10 a.m., there's a lot of crap that's going on.
That's pretty sad when the president of the United States is only available for like 4 or 5 hours a day. That's just bullshit. You
can't be. I mean, I would expect that there's a chain of command. So if someone calls the White House and says they need to talk to the president, I'm sure it goes through someone who discusses what the problem is or what the need is that has to be taken care of right then and there. And if it's not something important enough to wake up the president and have him do it right away, then it maybe is passed to someone who can take care of it. And then, of course, at the next morning briefing with his staff, his chief of staff tells him what happened, while he was sleeping. Unless you're Donald Trump, who, from what I understand, doesn't sleep at night. People say he's lucky if he gets 4 hours sleep. And if you can function on 4 hours sleep, you are a super person, meaning that, most of us can't function on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
But
is he coming on? If not, I'm going to jump over that.
No, he wanted to do it over the phone as a speakerphone, and I can't do that.
He's trying to hide. He's trying to hide his identity.
No, he's not trying to hide his identity. He was going to do it as a speakerphone. I've done that with Michael before, but I stopped doing it because it's just the volume of the phone ends up being so loud that people can hear it throughout the house, and it's just not. It's just not
Okay.
the right way to do it. If I had a proper studio and I could feed the input or the output from the phone into a board and send it out over to broadcast, then, that would be different. So I always tell people that if you don't want your face, come and do the broadcast, but put a black box over your face.
Yeah, you have that thing you block your face with.
Right, but at least come on with your audio. And it's nothing negative. It's just that's the only way we can do it. If I was in a separate studio that soundproof that people wouldn't hear anything coming out in the house,
It sounds like Daryl's going to have one hell of a studio once he gets really done.
He is. He's going to have the only studio with a NASCAR parked in it.
That's pretty cool.
He's been building it for a long time, from what I understand, putting it together, either building the equipment, getting the equipment. I look forward to watching whatever he does.
He also has a very interesting family background.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm here doing my stuff, right? And my one client, his name is Tom Vernon.
Yep.
And he just got engaged to a nice lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on hers. And listen to this. She has the family Vernon in her background.
Oh wow!
So the two, I gotta find out how that is, but it appears that the Vernon family for Tom, just a few generations back, married into her family line. How? Wow, he is gonna be blown away when he sees this.
Oh, they're okay.
I know. I mean, it's not like they'll probably wind up being like 56 cousins, something like that. I gotta see how this works. This is going to be wow.
How did you and the one person that you're related to? Did families marry into families, or is it?
Yes. So the relationship between her and me was through the name. He's one of our national heroes. He was a cowboy. He was a soldier, and so her family also was related to the Slaughter. Okay, I think it's Captain Slaughter. Disney did a whole comic book and TV series about him. So I'm related to Captain Slaughter, or it might be Major Slaughter. And so was her family related to Slaughter. So because of the relationship, what?
I think in the WWE he was Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, not the same Slaughter, not the same Slaughter, but because of that combination, though, my family was related to him, and her family was related to him. That makes us like fourth or fifth cousins.
Yep.
And that's the lady that's always on with Michael Anthony.
Yeah,
I can't think
David Fowler. You're welcome to come on any time you want on the Monday and Wednesday with Randy and I at 10 a.m. or the Gang of Us Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. What I usually tell people is if they know in advance that they want to come on, is to message me by 6 p.m. for the 7 p.m.s and 9 a.m. for the 10 a.m.s, and then I will make sure you get the link. The links get sent out about 15 minutes before the broadcast, and you either come into the studio and we go live together, or come in once we're live. That's how I leave it.
That's how
I know that you're a very interesting person, Jerry. Jerry revealed who you are on an American Rebellion that we were on, and so I know that you would be good on a broadcast. And Ranger, you'd be good on that too, even if you have to do it audio with your face covered. I don't have any problem with people doing that if you don't want to show your face on camera. Just have your audio on camera. Not everybody cares. Not everybody is willing to have
There it
their
is.
ugly mug
Texas
all
John Texas John Slaughter. That's who his name is.
Texas John Slaughter.
Yes.
And I did want to say good morning to Jane O'Malley, who is watching and not quite in the chat room yet. Good morning to Jane. Jane watches all the time, watches the American Rebellion. Tonight, because it's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern on the American Rebellion blogger page, the American Rebellion group here on Facebook. Shared around Facebook, the American Rebellion, 7 p.m. with Jerry Michaels and whoever will be on. Usually I'm on. Randy usually comes on. Jen usually comes on. Missing in action is Robert Lawless, the Minnesota Madman. If he ever wanted to show up, I think he's welcome too. So watch the American Rebellion tonight over here on Facebook, or go to Wimkin and watch it on the American Rebellion page over there.
Yeah, I want to share this picture with you if you can. If you can show it.
I have to. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I have to go down here and open up that camera. It's a little bit different than doing. I mean, it's the same kind of thing that you have to do on StreamYard, but it's showing.
Probably can't. Let me make it big. Let me make it bigger. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to change screens the way it looks. Hang on. Bum, 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 bum,
Send it back again.
Bum, 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 bum,
but I'll take that moment to say to anyone that we are using Restream. Restream is $19 a month for everything that you used to get on StreamYard for $25 a month, that you now have to pay StreamYard $45 a month.
So, unfortunately, that bar can't be moved. That's Texas John Slaughter.
Okay. So
you can't see his face, but you can see his gun and his bullets and stuff.
Right.
Very famous guy. Disney made a movie about him, had comic books about him. So because of him, Beth McCord, she's also related to Texas John Slaughter. So that makes us relate to each other.
Yep. Okay.
So,
all right. I understand, Ranger, that you have to do it by phone. We may be able to do it sometime. I just have to make different arrangements. Have to make different arrangements to be able to get the audio get a mic on the audio so that it doesn't have to be loud enough that everybody in the house can hear. We'll figure out a way to do that. We'll talk to David Novar and see if he can give me some ideas on how to do that.
Well, if it's the same as StreamYard, he would have to go to one of the browsers that the StreamYard accepts from a cell phone, and then go in that way, because that's how Michael does it.
Right, but Michael does it. He has a mic separate for his. Well, no, he in a private studio. It doesn't matter. You can play it. You can blast it. It can be as loud as you want. They make microphones that you rest your phone. You slide your phone into, and the audio goes right up into that microphone, and it's not. It doesn't have to be loud enough to.
Like I said, when I use StreamYard, and like the one day when on Sunday, Michael came in and he used his cell phone. So coming in through StreamYard, the audio was in my computer. It wasn't like an external speaker.
Right. You have
the whole world can hear.
Well, it's the same way here with Restream. You have to connect. You have to use the link to connect to the broadcast.
Right.
And then Michael puts up a black box with some kind of graphic on it every time. Or you just put up the black box.
Yep.
And the black box is fine on the screen if you don't want your face on the screen. That's different. Unfortunately, with me taking this, making it a speakerphone call, everybody in the house can hear it. And unfortunately, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and my grandson and one of his parents, our son or our daughter-in-law, is at the kitchen table doing homeschooling with him. and he's
Yep.
not signed up for
There you go. I gotta
broadcasting
go.
arts this
See ya.
year. Okay, Randy Rhodes. All roads lead to home genealogy. Talk to Randy. The rates are the least expensive you will find. I believe it's $250 a month. Gets you unlimited monthly contact with him. Answer a few questions, and he'll start doing the chart. Those questions, I think you can go back 5 generations. That is free. He'll review it with you for free. And then if you want him to continue, uh, it does become a paying situation, which is not bad. Like I said, it's not as expensive as other people that do it on the internet, either through Facebook or not. But it is fascinating stuff. And Randy's right. Randy's got a lot of clients that he finds really interesting information about that sometimes the clients are willing to let him come on other broadcasts, or he'll do a broadcast where he'll tell you, today's history lesson is the Vernon family, and he'll give you the whole history of the history of the Glovin family is not 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 that particularly interesting, other than they all came. The Glovinskis came from Prussia, which was the Russia-Poland border, in somewhere between 1900 and 1905. I believe it was 1905 because my grandfather was born in 1900 and was 5 years old in 1905, and we were all told that he came here when he was 5 years old, so that would be 1905 approximately. But he finds some really fascinating stuff, some funny stuff too. Jerry Michaels will tell you that when it comes to the Mayflower Madam, he's actually related to the actual Mayflower Madam, the one that was the Madam on the Mayflower when they were coming over to America. He's also related to Clint Eastwood. Jen Woodruff has a witch hunter in her family. That interests me. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. One of the apartment complexes that we patrolled in Framingham, Massachusetts, is on the back road behind it is called Salem End Road. And during the witch trials, you were brought to the end of Salem End Road and you were executed, burnt at the stake. Matter of fact, that complex has a maintenance garage they don't use anymore. The only reason they don't use it anymore is because it spontaneously combusts into flames. And the history is that supposedly was one of the spots where the witches were burnt. But anyway, stupid things that you don't necessarily need to know. It is 11:08. It is Wednesday morning. You've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Wednesday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. I'm going to sit around for the rest of the day and hope that the brand new laptop arrives today. While there is no weather damage outside or storm damage to keep it from arriving, and if it does not arrive today, then hopefully it will get here eventually, and we will make do with what we have. But like I said, the light on my desk is an LED light. It's very bright. That's why my face is washing out. It's bouncing off of all the white on the desk and anything that I tried to put on it to filter it. So we have to get a less bright light or move the light to someplace else. So I apologize for my face being washed out. I'm not sick. And it is what it is. So today is Wednesday. Like I said, tonight, 7 p.m. on the American Rebellion blogger page, the American Rebellion group, other places shared to here on Facebook, the American Rebellion with Jerry Michaels and whoever else either is invited by him or shows up. Please come and watch it. Good open discussion broadcast. It's not all politics. Starts out as politics, but then usually moves around to some interesting stuff because every once in a while it's fun to just take the chat off of politics and discuss other cool stuff like hurricanes. If you are in Florida, again, it looks like the first landfall hit is still going to be down around Tampa Bay, perhaps a little farther south of Tampa. Tampa will still, unfortunately, feel the hit if it comes in. It keeps going down below 5 and coming back to Category 5. Category 5 is very bad. If they tell you that you don't have to evacuate and you're in an area where Category 5 is going to hit, I would suggest, if you can, and you don't get an evacuation order, that maybe you think about evacuating anyway, just to be safe. If you want to weather it out and believe what they're saying is that it's going to hit at 5, it's going to drop to 4, it's going to drop to 3, it's going to drop to 2. By the time it gets to northern Florida where we are, it's going to be 1. You can take your chances, but if you get an evacuation order, my advice is that you evacuate. I understand that people have animals and they have other reasons why they can't evacuate. If you are disabled in any way and you can't move yourself out of your home, call your city hall today, as soon as this broadcast ends. Find out who you talk to, because every city, probably through the EMS, the fire department, is maintaining a list of people that have to be moved out of their homes because they're disabled and they can't do it themselves. And get yourself put on that list, because when the bull excrement hits the thin oscillating blades above your head and starts raining down on you, you may not be able to get on that list and you may not be able to be moved. Advanced planning lets them know the resources they got to try to hope they have available during the time that Milton is here in Florida. But continue to watch the weather. If you can't get it for the city that you are in, get the next closest city, because there's not a TV or radio station in every city that you can actually watch. But, pay attention, watch the national weather cable or YouTube channels, and just be prepared. The last I heard before we went on is that it is still safe in Florida today to go out and buy whatever you might need that you don't have at home. Gas your car, plug in all of your electronics at home and make sure they're charged. Plug in your electric vehicles and make sure they are charged. Governor DeSantis did say, I think yesterday or the day before, they have activated more emergency charging stations for vehicles along the major highways in Florida, so that you will be able to keep your car charged. He said in most cases you don't need to get in your car and drive hundreds of miles away from your house to get someplace safe. He was talking about Tampa. He said if Tampa gets an evacuation order, all you really need to do is cross the bridge. I don't know what bridge it is. Maybe Jerry can tell us tonight. Cross that bridge into the next town over. You might not be able to get a hotel room now. They're probably all booked out, so you may have to just keep going. But There are plenty of shelters in every city, in every state, in every city in Florida. There is at least, well, excuse me, in every county in Florida, there is at least one pet-friendly cemetery. So I hate to say cemeteries, but I always do. One pet-friendly shelter that will allow you to bring your dog, your cat with you, other animals. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, but we will get through this, as everybody is telling you. Yes, there may be damage. Yes, we may lose electricity. Yes, we may lose the internet. We may lose everything. If you're like me and you spend 18 hours a day on the internet, grab a book and read a book. I have Bill Muckler's 3 books that I can grab and read. For that, there's other stuff I can read. I like to write, so I can grab my red notebook and just start writing and catch that up to date. But we will get through this. I have no doubt in my mind that we will get through this. There will be some damage. There may be loss of power, but we will get through it. But if you are not stocked up at home for at least a week, go out today and do your best to grab whatever you can, because I saw pictures of the Orlando Walmart, and most of the shelves in the grocery section are empty because people went out and grabbed everything they had to grab. And do me a favor, when it comes to dog food, cat food, and toilet paper, don't just hoard and buy it all because you're there. Buy what you need. Leave some for other people who need it. Check with your neighbors, your elderly neighbors, seniors. Make sure if you're running to the store to grab things, they don't need anything. Grab stuff for them and make sure they're all set. And then if for any reason you lose power in your house, they've lost power in their house. They've lost power in their house. You have not lost power in your house. Please invite them into your house. Let them stay with you. Odds are they'll contact relatives and get moved, but at least make sure they're safe with you. They would do the same thing for you if it was you. And I say this on every emergency situation that we're going into. It's really important. And if we have what? Oh, hey, Wolf. Wolf is giving herself a bath, which is why you can't see Loaf. I can't pick up Loaf, and Loaf will let you pick her up. She's a 16-year-old gray tiger. She will let you pick her up. She will let you hold her. But then she starts moving around or clawing you because she's afraid you're going to drop her, and I end up dropping her. So I won't do that. And if you have a Chihuahua and your bed is high off the floor, consider a guardrail, because Delilah was on the edge of the bed the other day, and it wasn't she fell off the bed. It looks like she just jumped out. The landing gear came down, and she landed. I have to say, on a scale of 10, it was probably a 9.5 jump. It looked like she was going to squash land, and it would have been a traumatic experience. But anyway, 11:18, go do what you need to do. We'll do what we need to do around here. We'll be on the American Rebellion tonight, if we can. So thank you, Daniel Smith, for watching. Pat O'Grief says her sister, I can put this on the screen and everybody can see us read it, is in Florida, and the people who own Airbnb are letting renters bring pets in now. Okay, good. So, and I hope they're not charging outrageous prices. I hope they didn't increase their prices to rent their Airbnbs in light of the storm. I hope that they are doing the right thing and just helping people. Ranger Dukes, we'll figure out a way to get you on the broadcast with your audio if that is the only way that we can do it, and we will do it. Jane O'Malley, thank you for watching. David Fowler, you are welcome to come on anytime you want. Tina Scott, thank you for watching, and I think that's it. Unfortunately, I had to go out of the live chat monitor a couple of times, so I lost some of the people that were watching. If you like the broadcast, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the broadcast, give it a thumbs down, and comment why you liked it, comment why you didn't like it. Share it either way to everybody on Facebook. Okay, the only way we get seen on Facebook is if I share it and people that are on it share it, and if people watching it share it, and that's how it goes. Okay. And we're doing our best, and we will keep you informed until the election, and after the election, you never know. It's Facebook. Things could change, but I say that every 4 years during a presidential election that if the Democrats win, and Facebook becomes a publisher, I could be gone. But we have plenty of other places we can be. The YouTube channel is one. Like I said, it's been almost 2 years now since YouTube has nailed me for doing anything wrong. And we've done lots of things that YouTube would have nailed us for in the last 2 years. So we would end up on YouTube, and we probably end up over on StreetLock too. StreetLoc.com. You still have electricity, go to StreetLock.com, join it, get verified, and take a look around, and you'll probably enjoy it. And Paddock Grief says, no, the prices are not cheap. I didn't think they would be. It's an emergency situation, and people have to gouge to make a profit sometimes in emergency situations, which I don't think is right. But we're a capitalistic society, and you're going to make as much capital as you can. And vote for Donald Trump, because if you make more in capital gains under the Harris administration, you're going to pay more capital gains taxes. And if you own a house and it's increased in value, you're going to pay capital gains on that even before you sell it, where you pay capital gains tax on the money that you made for selling the house. Anyway, I'm going to turn the bedroom back over to my wife, who is making fantastic knitted with a knitting machine ear warmers. Fantastic stuff. She knits this, which comes out as a tube, basically, that's about a little bit longer than it is now. And you can see them on the Family Treasures Facebook page. The right one is it has a chicken as the profile picture, crochet chicken as the profile picture, because I believe there's more than one Family Treasures page. So go to that Family Treasures page. Again, if you can't find it, get a hold of me. I'll get the link and I'll send it to you. What? Custom colors are available. Go look. You'll see if you see something you like and you want to buy. Custom colors are available. Custom orders are available. If you don't see something that you want, message Donna, and she will tell you if she can make it. Price is very fair. Local delivery in our immediate area is available if you're in our immediate area or going to be in our immediate area. If not, shipping is added to the cost of free shipping. Shipping is included in the price, so free shipping. But and if I did my due diligence all the time, I would get a flyer or make a meme of the flyer for the events that they're going to be at in Florida, and I would post that all over. And again, you can flash it on the screen several times during the broadcast. But go to the Family Treasures page, become a member of the page, and like I said, look around. Custom colors, if you don't see the color that you want. Custom orders are available if you don't see the stuff you want to buy. or you have a need for a custom order, go and just look and look and look and look and buy. And buy. Christmas is coming up. Birthdays are coming up. You know, buy. Good stuff. Great stuff. Matter of fact. All right, red, white, and blue octopus, which I still haven't given a name, is something that Donna made. And on that note, it's 11:25, so we're going to pull the plug and focus on what has to be done around here. Delilah and Lola want breakfast, which is now probably brunch. But I want breakfast too. Anyway, watch the American Rebellion tonight on the American Rebellion blogger page here on Facebook. And be safe. We'll hit that one.